Good morning, everybody. Hey, no! March 1st, if we can believe this already. 2026. Gold Standard Radio Network here on the first day of meteorological spring, if we can believe this. We're in crypto winter still, but we are working our way into meteorological spring here in the northern hemisphere, and it's a very cold morning to start spring off in southern Ontario, as winter's last grip is here, but it is going to be vastly leaving this week as we approach 60 degrees later this week. But currently we had 1 inch of fresh snow overnight. It is negative 11 C, which is about 13 degrees J Fahrenheit under a sunny, gorgeous sunrise. We got to get a picture of this. Or we'll show you. We'll show you what it looks like here in southern Ontario this morning. Look at that. That's a beautiful sunrise. Got to get a picture of that. See that? Oops. I don't believe that messes anything up. If it does, we'll figure that out after. Let's get back to the chart. But it was you got to get a picture of that sunrise, and you can see the fresh 1 inch of snow. I don't believe there's anything more than that because there's still half the grass showing, which means 1 inch of snow. Hit that bell notification, comment down below, like the channel, and share to keep this channel growing and to keep these live videos coming. Join Jabroni Killers. It's an industry cheap and best value out there to support a channel and your favorite crypto page for the retail trader for $3.99 a month. Come on, you will, right? Every fucking buddy in America want to try to, the media and the people that want to believe the media want to tell you how all these countries are better than the U.S., how Canada is better than the U.S. because they have so-called free health care and free this and free that. They don't have free anything. If you break your leg in Canada, it's going to heal before you can get surgery on it, right? And that's not me making that up. That's fact. Just come here, right? I've been here for 4 months. A house, the housing crisis. You think it's unaffordable in the United States to buy a home? Come to Canada and try to buy a home. A 1,250 square foot house built like 30 years ago on 1 acre is $1.2 million. 1,200 square feet, 2 bedrooms, 1 bath, no basement, a small garage. 1.2 million. Normal houses that are in the United States, a 1,600 square foot, 3 bedroom, 2 bath, you know, a half acre lot that are like 400 grand in the States, 350 grand, right, in Michigan. In Canada, those are $2 million houses, and they're not even as nice as ours. They're garbage. They're no brick. They're shit, right? The food's unaffordable. The housing's unaffordable. The medical here is shit, right? They can say on TV for socialist political purposes to try to trick and misinform and propagandize you into taking on socialized medicine, which we've pretty much done. Their healthcare is garbage here. And their taxes are 50%. These guys that I'm working with, they get 50% of their income between all their province taxes and whatever they call their federal tax and their state tax, whatever they call that shit here, right? They're losing half their income, right? And then everything's taxed, right? You got a 13% tax on everything you buy. Then depending on what you buy, there might be a 4% green fee, 2% environmental fee, just fees out the ass. You think food's expensive in the U.S., come to Canada, go shopping. It's not even close. All that propaganda on TV, it's all nonsense, it's all lies. I'm here. Everybody in Canada wants to be in the States if they could. You figure that one out. It's not why would they want to go to the States if the States suck? Because it's way better. It's got problems and it's getting worse, but it's still way better than if you live in Canada, right? That's why they all want to go to the States. It's what they all say over here. Oh, you got that American money. You're from the States. He's from the States. He's got money. We want to get to the state. They all want to go to the United States. It's crazy, right? And when I'm here, I get it, because I wouldn't want to live here. Everything's expensive. There's rules on everything. Nothing's affordable. If you make $100,000 a year in Southern Ontario, you're barely above. You're working poor. You're not even in the lowest of the lowest middle class in the States, right? You're not. You're going to be on food stamps. You're not going to be able to afford a home. You can't. You can never. Nobody pays off a home here, and that's what I found out too. Unless you bought 20 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years, nobody pays off a home. They buy a house, and for $800,000, a shitbox. 10 years later, it's worth $1.5 million. They refinance and live off that money and extend the loan, and they just keep doing that with no intention of ever paying off any of that. They just keep borrowing the debt off the house because it goes up, and they live off that and make repairs on the house off that. And then they die, and then the loan goes away because they die, right? And then the bank takes the house back, and they never own the home. They're constantly paying a house payment every month on refinanced debt. That's insane, right? You can't ever get wealthy that way. At the bare minimum, you're just living just above bankruptcy your whole life, right? Never having that. It's crazy. Sorry, that's a rant because I'm in Southern Ontario and I've been here, and this is day 59 in a row, Jay, of driving to fucking work at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard fucking daylight time, right? And then I got to hear all that fucking nonsense about that. Sorry, it's a rant. The Bitcoin price is collapsing like it's been, so there ain't nothing new fucking here. The last 12 months, I could have said the same thing. Bitcoin's had a brief 10% rally followed by a collapse, right? And it's made a 52-week low. I could have just same thing, and you can see still we're below that 200-day moving average in the weekly time frame. We got rejected off it. We couldn't stay above it, and now that's what you got to watch after you came down to that bottom and you made a beautiful double bottom, and now you're getting rejected on the return rally yesterday, and now that's going to be the critical key question. Can you get above that? If you can and can hold that, you can start a substantial rally, right? If not, you're going to have a substantial flush, and you're going to come down to the 61 or the 51,000 and change. And a lot of these crypto quasi con men, like in my own personal opinion, micro strategies, borrowing their future to bet Bitcoin could never have an extended downturn because it doesn't pay a yield, and eventually those loans are going to become called, or Grant Cardone, all these fucking shysters are going to get caught with their pants down, and they're going to start getting leverage called and margin called and liquidated. And it's going to cause, and I've noticed some other high profile people now have started to hop on board. They're calling it what could be a cascading disaster in crypto, with these quasi treasury companies start to get liquidated or called, and they got to sell into the open market to pay down the debt, which causes the price to fall further, which causes limit orders to get tripped in the retail, which causes the price to collapse even farther, which causes more of these loans to become called, or margins to become due, or liquidated forcefully, right? In worst case scenarios, which then you got to sell the Bitcoin to pay off this, which cascades the price down even farther, and it just keeps feeding back on itself. And some big people now are starting to see that and talk about it, but the gold standard's been highlighting this for fucking 3 years for you guys, right? 3 years. 3 fucking years. I don't need a crisis to predict or to see and extrapolate data out into the future based on historical effects with similar circumstances on what may happen, right? It's not rocket science. And I think this is going to be a disaster. It's just, who's going to be collapsed with it, and how bad will it be, and does it take the rest of the financials down with it, because it's infiltrated through the financials now. The Ethereum price is above that 1,800, but it's getting rejected again. It did not make a new high. We're going to have to see if it stays above that 1,809, the top part of that blue support and resistance box. If it doesn't, it's coming all the way down to the bottom of this blue support and resistance box. Same thing with Ethereum XRP. Ooh, there's a snowplow. XRP is sitting at $1.41. That green resistance line is the 200-day. You can see we got rejected by it yesterday. We did breach that local low rate there on the way back down, and then we got rejected by a major upper resistance, and that is a classic bear sign after the Iran superior leader, or whatever the fuck they called him. Apparently Israel and the United States killed him. I'm sure there's going to be heightened volatility in the stock market, the dollar, the equity markets on the open tonight, as well as the gold and silver bullion and the oil markets. They might shoot up tonight or shoot down, who knows, right? I'm thinking they're going to shoot up. Or they might not even care, because this is just par for the course right now, as I believe a lot of distractions are going on due to a lot of things taking place that they're trying to keep people away. And I think we're all going to come unglued. You guys have known my thoughts and theories that we're on the verge of a major financial and economic worldwide crisis, way worse than 2008, way worse than 1999, 1980. 1928. It's going to be worse than 1928. The whole thing's going to come unglued. And it's going to happen just like it did in the 1920s, right? This is your year to take profit. Everything's overblown. There's a bubble in gold. There's a bubble in silver. There's a bubble in stocks. There's a bubble in crypto. There's a bubble in real estate. There's a bubble in land. There's a bubble in farm equipment. There's a bubble in everything, right? And this is the year that you need to take profits, because it's going to start to come unglued, and you don't want to be trying to figure out how to take profit or get out or position down or switch your positions onto a different strategy as the knife is falling, right? Because then it's all over and you're not going to make the right move. Now is the time to prepare, as I believe major economic collapses are going to happen, and it's all leading up with the tariffs, and now the United States stoking the flames with Israel and other countries. I believe it's going to eventually lead to a major war as the financial crisis starts. And then you obviously have to go to war as you're going through a worldwide economic global depression, right? I don't think it's going to be good, but if you position yourself right and you have capital and liquidity when things tank, because they will come back, when stocks tank, gold tanks, real estate tanks, if you have capital and liquidity, most importantly, you can take advantage of that and buy assets. That's right, assets that you'll need 10 years from now, that you're going to have a once-in-a-lifetime buying opportunity. That's right, a once-in-a-lifetime buying opportunity to buy these assets potentially at 30 cents, 40 cents on the dollar, right? Think of it, if you could wake up and it's 2028, 2029, and you can buy Apple at 80%, 75% from wherever it is, discount for several months or a year or two. You buy it, and then in 5 years, 10 years, when it makes new highs and new highs, you're getting all those dividends, all those capital returns on itself, all the compounding over the years as it's going up, right? And you bought it cheap. I think that's what's going to happen. I think you have to position yourself right, and you do not want to have all your capital all in, no matter what it is, because at the beginning of a crisis like 99, like 08, like 1980, right, everything goes down initially, because even the good assets get sold off because they need capital to pay off bad ones, or they just need capital to begin with because they lost it all, right? So that's the end of my rant for today. Stick with the gold standard. Don't believe the nonsense and the propaganda. The United States is still by far, at least I've been to Mexico and I've been to Canada. It's not even close, right? And I talked to people, especially here from Europe, because in Canada, most people are from Europe, Britain, fucking Pakistan, India, all right? There's a lot of people from India here, and they all tell me, we don't buy houses here. We buy houses in the States, right? With the plan to move there. That's where they want to go. Just remember that with the propaganda. United States, for better or worse, it is still the greatest country in the world. It's better than Canada. It's better than fucking Mexico. I ain't never been to Britain or anywhere over there, but from what I've seen and the cost of living over there, you can't beat the United States still, even though they're systematically ruining it, at least in my own personal opinion. Stick with the gold standard. I have to get back to work. Peace and love. Jai.